What's going on, guys? This is Moulton's Mind and Body. I am your host, Jeff Moulton. I'd like to welcome you back to the podcast. And if you're new, I appreciate you tuning in. So we're off schedule a little bit this week. This past Monday was the plan. I've been posting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for those that are new to the channel or aren't sure when I'm posting them. So basically, I hurt my back pretty bad a few days ago. No herniation or anything like that, but a lot of spasming, radiation in the low back, irritation where I couldn't sit, couldn't bend over, couldn't lay down. So I've been recovering from that, so that's why we missed the episode on Monday, but we're back and it's Wednesday now, and we're going to be putting up the podcast tonight. So today I have an episode which I think a lot of you will connect with, and what we're going to be talking about is setbacks. Really kind of what setbacks you have, kind of ones that I have, how I got through them, and kind of the best way moving forward to kind of get through, whether it's an injury or a loss of a job or whatever it may be. There's so many different things that can happen to you, and I think having a setback can be really demoralizing if you don't know how to get yourself out of it, and it can lead to either depression, get you very upset, sad, and I think that's just something that a lot of people go through. And now New Year's coming around, I want to make sure you guys are in the right mindset, so if you do fall down, you know how to get back up, okay? So the big thing is with setbacks for me, I think most people have the problem when they get a setback is they don't know how to get through it, right? They think it's the end. They think that there's nothing that good can come out of this. For example, I'm going to use the example in the gym, because this is what I see a lot of people talk about, and a lot of people that really I can relate with on that aspect. So here's my example. I've been working out consistently for 6 to 7 years, consistently, and I've had ups and downs along the road. New Year's coming around. Right now, I'm all excited to get into the Spartan racing. I'm more motivated than ever to do all these races and step out of my comfort zone and challenge myself in a different way. And out of nowhere, I go for a 1.5 mile run, and all of a sudden, I start locking up. My back starts spasming. Hours go on into the day, and I can't stand up. I can't lay down, and I'm stuck. And there's just excruciating pain in the low back. And out of nowhere, now I'm in this rehab mode, which is very frustrating because I've been grinding and working my ass off for getting ready for these races and doing a lot of work, and now I'm taking steps in the opposite direction. So I think for me, my thing is I think you got to get into the right mindset. So understanding for myself that this isn't the end. These can be fixed, but what can I do to speed up the recovery? Instead of dwelling upon your situation, instead of me just beating myself up and be like, oh, it's over, it's a setback, I can't do it now, and giving up, it's standing back up and doing everything proactively that you can to get on your feet and not let that happen again. So for me, I know I've had all these previous injuries. There's things that I could have controlled, right? I'm not as flexible as I should be. I have past injuries where I should be doing more mobility work, tissue work, flexibility work, and maybe something this doesn't happen, or maybe I don't get that aggressive in my training. Maybe I should have stepped back a little. Maybe there are things that I could have done that would have necessarily helped me. So that's a big thing for me moving forward. Now, I've been out of commission for 4 or 5 days. I've had to take time off of work. And moving forward, I've had this realization that I need to be spending at least a half hour to an hour a day just doing flexibility work. I need to be doing these long stretches, working on my hip mobility, ankle mobility, and fixing the things that I think were leading to this injury occurring, which is just imbalances. And it's easy to just get in this mindset where it's shit, I'm never going to get back. I have too much work to do. And I may have to take steps back a little bit now to get myself to go in that direction again. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I hopefully, in the next week or so, I can start to do some things in the gym again. But I'm going to try doing as much stretching as I can right now. And I think that's going to be my biggest priority. I think doing yoga type posing, flexibility work, and I think all these things are going to be really, really important to me moving forward to even have a shot at doing these races without having a major injury occur. So, and I think these setbacks can just be detrimental if you don't know how to pick yourself up and just keep moving forward, because that's the hardest thing, guys, is when you're beat up, when you're crushed, something you've done, maybe you failed an exam, maybe you lost your job, maybe you had a breakup, all these different things that can just set you back and kind of make you rethink and be like, shit, man, like, what is going on? Like, how am I going to get out of this? What am I going to do? And I think most people, make the mistake of just letting themselves just get so down and you're not good enough, and like you're never going to get back to where you were, or like that was the best opportunity you may have had, whether it was a job or whatever. And you got to realize, man, like there's not a lot you can control, but you can control how you react to everything. And I think that's like the biggest thing for me now is like, I still am hard on myself, and I still beat myself up, and I don't kick back from these setbacks very quickly all the time, but like from time over time of injuries and things like that, you start to reprogram the mind of how to get back and what it takes. And like to me, I always have to make it a game. I have to be like, I had 8 races I wanted to do this year, 8 Spartan races, anywhere from 3 miles up to like 12 to 15 mile races. And I'm like, man, like how good would it be if I could pull this off? Like, I can barely walk right now. Nonetheless, let's crush one of these races. So I have to turn things into a game. It's the same thing when I was doing my bodybuilding competition down in Boston. Like we talked about this in the past, the stuff that I had to go through, but I had to make it a game. The more suck that I had in my life, the more I was like, if I can pull this off, man, this will be epic. So I think that's, for me, one of those things you have to do is when you have setbacks, you have to just start looking at every little positive thing that you can do, and what can you do to reach the goal. Not what can't you do, what's holding you back. Like it's a new opportunity. Like, I'm not a big believer that everything happens for a reason. I think like, if you get too caught up in that mindset, in my opinion, when you think everything happens for a reason, you lose aspect of like how much control you have. And I think I like to believe that I have control of my life, and I can control a lot, and I know realistically you only can control so much, but I think I am in control of my life and what I can do. And, whether I have setbacks or things go wrong or a family member or someone that pass away, like, how you program your mind is how you're going to control it and how you're going to react to these setbacks and situations that come down the road. And I don't think enough people spend a daily regimen of just programming their mind from being positive to doing the little steps every day, to challenging yourself, to putting yourself in a very uncomfortable situation that necessarily may not be fun or you may not even like. But I think with putting yourself in these situations, you're going to force yourself to grow. You're going to build a stronger mindset. You're going to build yourself to be a stronger person. So when you have these setbacks happen, you have these situations that you don't want to be in and that are just brutal to be in, you can get out of it and you can actually conquer it and come out striding. I think that's what we need to focus on. There's not enough people talking about what they can control. Like, for example, when you wake up every day, are you saying positive things? Are you complaining? Like, how are you starting your morning? Are you on your phone every second of the morning complaining about the weather? Are you waking up to negative messages? Maybe those are people you need to cut out. From the first minute you wake up, you have to realize like that's what's going to start the day off, and you can't be allowing yourself to go into these negative situations. So, surrounding yourself with the right people, putting yourself in situations that isn't going to happen. I think that's important. Working out in the morning. I don't think people realize that like the mind and the body and nutrition is like the key to everything. Sickness, disease, like when you can keep your mind stress-free, when you can work out and have an endorphin release to get that high, you don't need it from a stimulant, you don't need it from smoking, you don't need it for whatever. And the nutrition to have the body functioning optimally, to not be putting pesticides, chemicals, and all this artificial hormone junk into your body, you'd be shocked how you can feel and how much better you can feel, and from a mental standpoint, to energy levels, to sleep patterns. And I think it's if you can regulate that stress and by having these habits every morning, waking up, whether it's stretching, whether it's working out, whether it's meditating, whether you're having a good breakfast that isn't full of processed sugar and crap where you're going to crash, in a short period of time. I think these are important things that everyone needs to start the day with, and having a positive mindset. If more people could do this, we wouldn't have these, as many problems as depression and the pressure of society that people get put into. is causing setbacks to be 10 times worse because everyone's scared to take risks. Everyone's scared to fail, which is leading them to be mediocre people. Now, don't get me wrong. It's okay if you want to be an average person. That's great. But guess what? Like, I don't think most people want that, but they're settling for that because they're uncomfortable because of a societal view of the pressure that they're getting put into, and they don't take risks. So then they're sad and depressed and not happy with their lives, and they're even avoiding getting put in a situation where they could have a setback because they're scared. They're scared of failure. They're scared of what's going to come from it. And then if it does happen, they've never failed. They've never been in a bad situation. They've never, I think you have to fail. I think you have to be in stressful situations. You have to take risks, and you have to embrace the suck, man. Like these situations that people are in and depressed in is like, we have to realize like, it's okay, number one, because that means you tried something or something happened that, isn't in your control. So like you can't dwell upon it. You can't let it get to you. You have to keep striding every day to get better, and no one's going to help you. Like, I think you need to realize that like you are the only one that can help yourself. No matter what someone does for you, they can't create the life you want. You have to be the one that's creating that life. And so moving forward, guys, I think you need to realize, like, number one, if a setback occurs, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to get yourself out? Those are two questions you need to ask yourself, and not rely on everyone else. Like, take control of your own life. Don't be complaining to everybody about every problem that you have. Everyone has their own problems. No one cares. Okay? Maybe your family and your friends, they want to listen to you bitch and complain all day, but guess what? They probably don't really care. They just want to complain about their lives with you, and now you're in a negative circle that isn't going to help you. Like, you need the friend that's going to be like, okay, man, they listen, and then they give you some good feedback, like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's work. Let's get better. You need to get out of this funk. Those are the people you need in your life, not this negative circle of just complaining. Like, that is just drives me absolutely crazy. It just does. I don't know why. Like, everyone loves toxic, negative environments. I think everyone just is scared, so they're just going to complain in this circle of, of just this negative people. And you need to get yourself out of there. If you're in, whether it's a workplace, which I know it's hard because you have less control of, because you don't really want to give up a job. But if you're really stressed and you hate your job and you're miserable every day, like, you can't be putting yourself in those situations. That can't be something that's gonna be something you want to do. So, with friends, when things like that, you need to be cutting the people out that are not in it for the right reasons. They're not helping you. They're not giving you better. They're not dragging you down. You want people that are bringing you up and challenging you to be better on a daily basis, from a mindset purpose to healthy living, to challenge you in your career. Like, take risks, guys. Just challenge yourself. Just take risks, challenge yourself, and try to be better. Man, like, if these setbacks are going to occur, just get better. Learn from them. Dig yourself out of the hole. If it takes a day, a week, a month, 3 months, but just get yourself out. And all you can do is try and put yourself in the right situations. Okay? Like, don't give up on yourself, because people are not always going to be in your corner to dig you out of that hole. You have to figure it out on your own. And not all the advice you hear is the best advice. You have to go with your gut. You have to challenge yourself. And maybe you have to try something new. Get out of the comfort zone. Get out of that setback that you just had and get better. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to get out of this injury setback that I've had, and I'm going to crush it. And I'm going to hit these 8 races. I'm going to make 150 podcasts. I'm going to most likely be moving to Connecticut. New work is going to be starting, and I got a lot of little goals that I want to hit along the way. So you can't make excuses for yourself. No one wants to listen to them, and you're just giving yourself an excuse of why you're not doing what you're doing. And the people that know what they're doing, that are successful, they know when you're bullshitting, and they can see that. So don't bullshit. Be real. Trust yourself, and keep working to get out of that hole, whatever that setback is. So if you're struggling right now, you're in a setback, you're in a funk, you want to get in a better shape, you want to feel better, you want to take a chance, new job, new career, do it. I'm telling you to do it. And if you want to talk about it, I'm here to talk about it. But challenge yourself and get out of that hole and take yourself to a new level this year, especially. It's the beginning of the year. I'm not a big New Year resolution guy, but I think there's a ton of value in setting some big goals this year. And in worst case, you're back where you are. Challenge yourself, take some risk. In worst case, you're back where you are. And if you have a setback, that's just going to make you better in the long run. Okay, guys? I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast about setbacks and just hope it helps someone get out of that hole or that setback that they're currently in. I appreciate you tuning in guys. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks.